I'm from northern BC that finally has snow.
We had snow yesterday.
We had snow yesterday, but there's a lot more snow today, which is awesome. Today is Sunday, and we normally would be hosting people for home fellowship today, for home church. We got lingering sickness, and we don't want to share it. We don't share everything, friends. So we don't have home church today. And I have been not feeling good all week. I have a stomach bug. So I have had 2 stomach bugs this fall. Anyhow, I'm gonna make cheese today. And we're also going to talk and ramble a little bit about Sabbath and what rest means for our family. My milk delivery is coming in, which means it must be time to grab out my cheese pot. Hey Mac, where's Amos?
Pardon?
Where's Amos?
He went up that way with Hamish.
Hamish has been inside for a while.
He just came out.
Oh, okay.
Coming this way, but oh no.
There they are. Hi, bud. Were you milking the cow? When it comes to a Sabbath rest, you're going to have as many opinions as there are people. But I feel like if you are observing the Sabbath and you are honoring God and you have sought God's guidance on how you're spending the Sabbath and you're following God's guidance, then I don't think what you're doing is wrong.
Monday now has a chance of snow.
Oh, that's good.
And there's no
Smithers now. Monday rain.
Are you on Environment Canada weather?
What do you mean?
What weather are you on? I don't think the native Apple weather works very well. I think Enviro Canada is the best.
Are you filming?
Yeah,
Why?
because I'm doing a video about this morning.
Okay.
So there still is chances of rain in there. So for reference for Americans, 0 is 30 Fahrenheit. That's like 26 Fahrenheit. No, sorry, that's 34. That's 25.
-10 on Thursday.
Yeah. A question on a previous video was about skimming cream before making cheese. And so my protocol is that I want to make cheese with milk that is 3 days or fresher, 72 hours or fresher. If it's fresh milk, like Mac brought me, it goes straight into the cheese pot. So we're at Sunday morning. So Saturday night's milk, I'll take just a tiny bit of cream off the top, the really thick stuff on top. Saturday morning milk, I'll take most of the cream. Friday milk, I will take almost all of the cream, because the cream doesn't incorporate into the cheese. You lose it in the whey once it's fully separated from the milk. People tell me you can use calcium chloride and then the cream will stay in. However, I like to make cheese in a very old school way, and that doesn't feel old school to me. I have a lot of cream to skim today, so we're going to start with the butter churn.
Dirty. Save some for ice cream.
I could save some for ice cream, yeah.
And save some skim.
I got a bunch of, I have a bunch of jars still in the basement that I have to skim, that I can't use for cheese.
Ooh, could we use that for chocolate milk?
Yeah, you can make some chocolate milk.
Amos, did you just fart?
No.
So this milk is from Friday night, so I'm taking pretty much all of the cream. This one is from last night. So the saran wrap is on the lids because some of the lids are not very good. Like that lid is going to hold potential for contamination, that there's going to be like a little bit of bad bacteria that gets in your milk, that if you're just drinking milk, it won't give you any issues, but if you try and make cheese, you'll have issues. So I'm just on this one, I'm going to show you this. what I'm looking for is just if there's any really heavy cream on top, which there's not much, and that's all I'm taking off of this one. Okay, for some reason she was holding back on this night here, but what I want to show you is like you can see the very distinct cream line. This is not very much cream. She was holding back here for some reason. Whereas on this one, you can't see the cream line hardly at all. So the milk is not fully separated. So this is from last night and I can just add this whole thing. Whereas these, the cream is very distinct. It's gonna be very thick and I'm gonna skim it all off.
I had this place for 5 weeks.
It's still snowing. But that's good because we did do that.
The best time
See?
to grab one.
Look at the difference in how thick this cream is.
And it stops at like 3 in the morning.
So these ones, I always put them upside down on top of the milk jugs. That's actually eggnog. To get that bit of cream that always sits on the side. Hey, Wash, good job, bud. No, wrong sink, wrong sink. Woo. Put it in this sink.
Look at his brain.
Keep going. Keep, not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. Next one, next one.
This one.
There you go.
High five.
Yeah.
So I have the milk on medium high. And every time I pour in a new jar of milk, it stirs it around. So I don't have to worry about stirring it until I'm done adding milk. Also, welcome to the morning chaos. I'm making about a 7-gallon batch of cheese, and I'd say this is like 2 or 3 quarts of cream that I took off the jars that I made cheese with. So I would have lost that in the way.
Good job, bud.
Hello, this is Amos and me and Freya and Amos.
What's your name?
But I'm rowing.
The other thing about a Sabbath rest that I heard is that if you work with your hands, then you rest with your hands and you work your brain on the Sabbath. But if you work with your brain, then you rest your brain and you work with your hands on the Sabbath. Basically, like if you do a really physical job, then yes, it makes sense to have a very physical rest. But if your job isn't very physical, then maybe what is most refreshing to your soul and honoring your body is physical exertion. I'm going to use clabberculture to make cheese today, which is like the sourdough cheese making in terms of it being a natural recurring culture where you're not having to buy cultures, yeast, whatever. So, what's up, Rick? Okay, you, Freya, just worry about your job, okay? So I'm making alpine wheel of cheese. My clabber cheese making course and the alpine, how I make a wheel of alpine cheese, there's a lot of variations out there, friends, is on venisonfordinner.com. It's a free course. Anyhow, this clabberculture was made like 2 days ago.
That's a 7.
There we go.
Looks good. So I shake it to add almost all of it to the cheese pot.
Wait.
So my 7-gallon cheese pot is perfect. I dumped, you need a 1/4 cup per gallon. So, pint jar was perfect amount. I thought I was filming. I was not. You did not see me pour it. I saved a bit. I saved a bit back. Because now I'm going to put like just a teaspoon worth in a jar of cream. Only the very heavy cream off the top of the jar. None of the light cream that's runnier. This is gonna be sour cream. So we're just gonna shake it. We're gonna leave it in a warm place and it's gonna be about 36-ish hours. And so starting at 24 hours, I will like take it and tip it and see if it's like that clabberculture, nice and thick. And once it's thick, we put it in the fridge. It takes a bit longer than a clabberculture. Like my clabberculture thickens in 24 hours. This is usually 36 or so. So I'm gonna put it by the stove and spoil.
Okay.
7.
And then to feed my clabberculture, first of all, I want to make sure my jar is still nice and clean, doesn't have anything like really grody for cheese there.
Hey, I started with like 2 cards.
Not grody, but like, you know, does the lid still look nice?
Amos, place 2 cards.
Come on, wrong, buddy. You can do it.
I did the drugs.
Place another
And that is how you feed your flabberculture. I don't put this in a warm place. I just put it by my sourdough starter. 24 hours and then it moves to the fridge. My rennet's diluted in water. I use liquid calf rennet. I don't ever use a vegetable or microbial rennet. I don't think they're as good. I went to make chocolate milk and we're almost out of the powder, so I gotta make some more. Okay, cream is sitting, warming up. Chocolate milk is made, ready for the fridge. Cheese has 23 minutes left culturing. It's only a half an hour culture. Alpine is the best if you have a busy life. This is the cheesemaker's break. This is, now I get to sit down and enjoy a cup of tea. Of course, the second I sat down, I was pounced on. That's how it goes. They wanted to open their advent calendar. So they have these dye-free Smarties. I showed the advent calendar in maybe last week's video, maybe the one before. Can't remember, but I went over it then. So we are reading Luke along with our advent. So Luke 3 is what we read this morning. There's a long line of lineage that's hard to read in that chapter.
And hey, do you want some? And hey, do you want some? Hey, do you want some, Miss?
First, I checked for a clean break. You can do this with a butter knife. I just used my clean finger, and I knew it was going to be ready. I have made this recipe with this cow's milk so many times. I don't even need to test it at this point. I just look, and I know it's there. If I was using a different cow's milk, things like that, then it definitely might change that. So I use the whisk to cut because we want small curds for this, and you're just going to get right down in there, friends. Then we turn it on to medium heat and we start stirring. So after about 10 minutes of stirring, I check to see if my curds are ready. 5 to 10 minutes. I'm not really sure how long it's been. I just thought I would check to show you. Here is what curds look like when they're not ready. They squeeze out between the cracks in my finger. The kids have all been rotating FaceTiming with my mom this morning, and she was showing them how to do this tree craft that we're hoping to do at our homeschool groups. It's really simple, an origami tree for making Christmas ornaments with. We try to do that for our December homeschool group. I could feel that the curds were starting to firm up, and this is why I highly recommend stirring with your hand. So when I gently press, it stays together. It doesn't try to escape my fingers. I have a full recipe, like I said, in my Clabberculture Without the BS course, but it's ready to press now. So I have a very basic press. I have a homemade stand, and I put it in a roasting pan I got at a garage sale. The cheese mold, what the cheese actually goes in, is from cheeseneeds.com. It's their, I think it's an 4 kilo Gouda mold. I really love it. It's a nice big wheel. I use it, this mold for all of my cheeses here. Actually, can you help me film this?
Oh, is this the one where you stick it in and then scoop it out? What do you mean done?
Move it so that they can see me put it in the press.
Okay.
Okay, so we tuck it around like it's a fitted sheet around a mattress, and then I kind of do this flip, and I end up with the whole thing in a sling. Okay, so yeah, put the cheese press so that I don't drip away everywhere.
I've seen videos on TV that can go on land. Yeah, they can go on the
So the nice way about this method is that the curds, it's not like when you take handfuls and move them in, you end up with air pockets. It's fairly condensed and only the top is really wobbly. Can you do it so they can see the top?
You can pick any color. It doesn't have to be.
So this is optional, but what you can do here is I'm just gonna gently put some weight on
You can do any color. Anything.
to even out the top.
You can
Make sure my
make,
cheesecloth is tight.
like you make it like it's curly.
Fold one side over.
It says pops up. But I've never done that. You could try to do it, but I don't think it.
And we want,
Mom, you want to come and
Oh.
see my outfit?
we want this thing.
What is some black?
Go on.
And it needs to be about in the middle.
Fly touches it. Oh my god, fly.
And then I just pick one of my buckets. It's a good weight. Hey, Rowan, can you move out of the way? So this is a lighter weight bucket. It maybe weighs 10 pounds. So we put it on and see how we can see. It's kind of hard to see on this. But whey is slowly coming out of the holes. That's what we want. We want it to slowly come out. You want it to slowly press together so that it just presses together seamlessly. If you press it together fast, you end up with air bubbles that trap whey, and that whey will give you a bitter cheese in the end. So I'm gonna leave this 15 minutes like this, and then I'm gonna add a bit more weight.
Mom.
Hi, everyone.
If you have this thing, this is
So my cheese is in the press,
then you can see it.
and add a bit more weight in 15 minutes, and then flip it in another 15-20 minutes, and then add more weight to it, and then I'm forgetting about it till tomorrow morning, at which point I brine it. My cream, I'm aiming for it to be, oh yes, it's an art palooza on the table. I'm aiming for the cream to be about 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, which is about 50 to 60 Fahrenheit. Colder, and it takes a lot longer to churn. Warmer, and it's very soft and hard to work with. So that's what I'm aiming for. I know in my house, if I do this in the morning, if I make butter about the evening dinner, we're good. I've been trying to be better about record keeping for things like canning, bulk freezing, when we butcher, how much we got, how many chickens we butchered. You know, we got 2 bears. How much did they weigh? That sort of thing. Did we get 2 bears or 3 bears? No, we got 3 bears this year. Anyhow, I've been keeping track of dairy. So updating here. So Jess has been in usable milk for about 6 weeks at this point. She gives 4 to 5 gallons of milk a day. She's got a very high butter fat, so she gives lots of cream. And I've made 32 pounds of butter, a gallon of sour cream, a gallon of cream cheese, 49 pounds of cheese, that's 7 7-pound wheels, gallons of yogurt, and we drink about 2 gallons of milk a day. And the pigs get lots of skim milk too. So yes, my cow pays for herself. Hay is not cheap this year, but friends, neither is the grocery store.
Dad, he's got a gummy and pencil. And boogers on his face.
Eggnog latte. I'm taking the cheese out, draining a bit of the whey, and flipping it so that it can press now with more weight. That sunshine was gorgeous, but not great for filming. Back to the Sabbath here. I think that there is as many opinions as there is people, and you could really get into arguments about it, and that's never something that I want to do. I don't want to argue with someone about God's calling for my family or their family. Sunday lunch, oh, you guys are gonna bail there, is almost always soup.
Yes.
We're having a basic.
Go to
You better go to the potty then, Rowan.
the door's closed.
Maria, could you grab the door for her? Very basic chicken noodle, kale, lots of spices and herbs.
Playing card.
I would rather not eat a playing card. Okay, and then this is kind of funny. I want to bake a treat, but I don't have any soft butter. So I just put in my dehydrator. It's at 95 Fahrenheit. I did it for an hour. This was butter from the freezer. So I'll show you after an hour how soft it is. I just put it in here so that I didn't lose any, like scraping it out of a plate or something.
My nose fell in. Ow! My nose is down.
Oh, So it's just shy of an hour and it's starting to melt, but otherwise, like, that one still has a bit of firmness to it, but that one is softer. So it's pretty close. A few more minutes and it'll be ready to go. Something we have on the go here that you still have time to make for Christmas because it needs to sit at least 2 weeks. So you could easily make this as a Christmas present. These are lemons fermented in honey. These are just done, so it'll take a couple.
Christmas is like 3 weeks.
I know, they only need to sit for 2 weeks. You could give this someone at Christmas. Okay, there is 2 lemons in here and about 3 cups of honey.
3 lemons in each.
No, there's 3 small ones or 2 big lemons. Anyhow, lemons, honey. We did put a hot pepper in a couple of them. Cinnamon stick, another one. Once it ferments or starts fermenting, wow, I really need to clean under that fridge. It got pushed back and yikes. Okay, it's very runny. So the purpose of lemons fermented in honey is that it's really good for you. If you're sick, you can just put like a couple spoonfuls in warm water to drink it. Marius puts the actual lemon slice in too. He's been drinking it for a sore throat and loving it. And I was like, oh, we need to make some more of this ASAP. And I've really not done much for days. And I love crafting potions. So Mac and I worked on those together and that was really fun to do that with him. Okay, you can look up a fermented lemon recipe online, but basically you do the lemons, like 2 to 3 lemons, honey to fill, and then you're gonna flip the jar, leave it on the counter, room temperature, flip the jar, like once a day, burp it kind of once a day. It gets liquidy pretty fast, and then, yeah, 2 to 4 weeks. So just try it, and if you like how it tastes at 2 weeks, put it in the fridge. If you wanna see what it tastes like after longer, leave it for longer. And then once it's in the fridge, it will last for months. If you get out of cold and flu season and you still have it, lucky you, you could totally put it like on ice, cold water. It'd be a really good lemonade, like fermented lemon lemonade. Sounds delicious. Anyhow, my math is that this is about a $10 gift, depending on what you're paying for honey and for lemons. I didn't buy organic lemons. They weren't available at the grocery store. That's what living rurally is like. You can't actually necessarily get organic things even if you want to pay for them. Okay, so we just had lemons I just washed. It is local honey, and it was about $10 a jar. So that's a really great price point for giving a gift to someone. And you know, if it's someone who you think would like it, then there's an idea for you. Don't tell my father-in-law, he's probably getting a jar with hot pepper. You can actually fit 10 trays here too. There's enough space. Most dehydrators don't have such big spaces between them. So it will say that it's like a 9-tray dehydrator, but only with the very flattest things can you actually fit 9 trays. It's 4 p.m. right now, so the butter sat out since about 9 a.m. Well, the cream did, and it turned into butter, I don't know, I'd say this is maybe about 5 minutes. We're already at butter here. Let's see. Unplug you there. Look at all that marvelous butter. And right here we have cream, heavy cream, hot chocolate making ganache, and I'll show you guys the dessert I made. Very excited about this. Yes, the de-icer is still waiting on the counter, waiting for someone to put it away. As farmers, there is always going to be work. There is never not going to be something needing to be done on the Sabbath. That's just how it is. But what needs to be done? That's what we focus on. And we try to really focus on what will make us feel refreshed starting a new week. What fills our cup? What refreshes our soul? Obviously, we are digging into God's Word at some point. But other than that, there's never not going to be work, friends. Realistically, no one's leaving the dishes till the next day, right? You're going to do the dishes. You're probably driving your vehicle. Maybe you stopped at a corner store on your way home from church. All this to say, you seek God for your family, and I'll seek God for mine. So the recipe called, I doubled it, but it called for a 9-inch square pan, and this is a 10 by 14. I think it needed to go in a full half sheet pan. The edges were way thicker, and then the centers were thinner. Like you can tell the difference here and how thick they are, but I think it needed to be in a bigger pan. It is still going to be absolutely delicious. This is so decadent and delicious.
Okay,
Yep. Then Freya and Marius are working on our advent calendar puzzle.
Where's the rest of the stuff? Dad, do you know the rest of the stuff?
You guys are both working upside down.
Upside down is the best way to go. We just go slow.
These have been going, I think, about 4 hours. I have them on a very low temperature, so they'll take a long time to dry. Hey, Hamish, you're in my light. They'll take a long time to dry, but they'll stay a really nice, vibrant color. The sugars won't brown at all. It smells so good. I have them at 122. So I think you could go to like 145 for fruit.
Yeah, you've made.
The oats are nice, make it nice and chewy.
And sugary. The sugary part is that, you remember?
Oh, you remember me making something with sugar before?
Like really sugary.
Okay. Friends, we have a lot of treats here. It's the next morning and Hamish is taking the whey that's no longer super hot out to feed the animals a nice warm breakfast. I'm taking the cheese out of the press because this was a lower fat alpine, which is what I was aiming for. I'd say this is about a 5 to 6 pound wheel. This will be like an Asiago, which we use in place of Parmesan a lot because it ages a lot faster than Parmesan. Parmesan takes a long time to age, friends, forever. Then I always brine the cheese. You can surface salt, but I really like how easy brining is. I reuse my brine, and as long as the cheese wheel is floating flush, not above, you want a cheese wheel floating flush with the brine like this, we just keep reusing it and doesn't need any more salt. But I always top the top with salt so that I don't have to flip it, right? We're going for lazy here. Anyhow, I got whey all over the floor and Marius is making us some coffee and time to go on with our day.
What are we having for breakfast, Mom?
Good question.
What?
Good question. So my clabber here, so thick it doesn't want to turn upside down. Ready for the fridge, and it will stay in the fridge good for cheese making for a few days, and after that I can use it for baking, place of buttermilk or anything like that. It's so good. So this one, you can tell is nice and thick too. So it's going to the fridge. I'm gonna put a label on this first for the sour cream. Thanks again for watching. I love when you guys tune in and give a thumbs up, give a comment, subscribe if you like it. It decided to melt overnight. Pretty lame, but now it's snowing. Can you see in my hair? But it's supposed to rain later. Kids are hoping to get in a quick snowmobile with a friend this afternoon. We'll see if that works. Anyhow, have a lovely day, friends.